Welcome to another episode of Business Unleashed, a Plano Chamber podcast, presented by Baylor Scott & White Plano. Today, we're excited to have Chris Castillo from EOS Worldwide joining us. Chris will be sharing his expertise on the Entrepreneurial Operating System, EOS, a powerful framework designed to help businesses break through barriers and achieve their full potential. If you've ever felt stuck or struggling with managing the day-to-day challenges of running a business, this episode is for you. Get ready to learn how EOS can transform your business operations and lead you to greater success. Let's dive in. So welcome to another episode of the Business Unleashed podcast. I'm so excited to have our special guest with us, Chris Castillo from EOS Worldwide. And we're also excited to learn what EOS is and how it can help entrepreneurs and businesses alike. So Chris, welcome to the podcast. We're so glad you're here. Tell us a little bit about what EOS is and,
Well, first of all, thank you for this opportunity. It's great to just be able to talk to people and just give some clarity of what I do and what EOS can do for businesses.
yes.
In general, EOS is an operating system. It helps businesses simplify and clarify how they run their business. From 12 different people doing 15 different things, it allows everybody to get on the same page to simplify the business, clarify the vision, and get everybody rowing in the same direction. And it really is there to help business owners to get their people to help row in the same direction. That's really the magic that happens. If you can get everybody to believe in the vision and understand how they can contribute to that vision, everybody starts working together, and then the business just grows to where it should have been growing in the past. And a lot of times things just get in the way of that. And we try with our system, we teach a simple set of a complete system with simple tools that really allow everyone on the team, not just the owner, to embrace the tools, understand how they can all use the same tools and all get the same results, and really end up working together and be in a fun, healthy team. Because a lot of times leaders of businesses don't work well together, and that's sort of is part of the problem with businesses. That's how they struggle, because as they go, the leadership team, the leaders of the company, as they go, the rest of the company follows, good, bad, or indifferent. So we're just there really to help them get what they want out of their business, help them learn the tools, master the tools, and then get out of their way so they can just go execute in their business and get really what they want from their business.
That's really cool. So how did this all come about? How did you tell me a little bit about your background and your story? How did you, come to start working with EOS and what enticed you about that?
Oh, yeah, great question. So 12 years ago now, my wife at the time, we started a business and it was going well, but we hit the ceiling at about 2 million in revenue. And we realized if we wanted to scale the business, we had to hire people. Couldn't do that in California, moved to Texas in 2017 and really tried to scale the business, but really didn't have any framework, any system to rely on. Found the book Traction and used the principles from EOS to basically build the business, double the revenue every year to the point where we had a self-managed team. I realized I was really good at getting people to use the tools, practice those tools, and give them the ability to be autonomous and let them just do what they're supposed to be doing and then get out of their way. And so in 2020, got trained during COVID and just started looking for businesses that needed my help.
Wow. That's pretty interesting. So when you talk about businesses that need your help, what are some of the ideal clients of EOS? And are there specific businesses that it works best for versus others that, don't see the same results? Who would you say the ideal client is?
Well, EOS can work with any company that has employees.
Okay.
That is really the magic. In another phrase we use, EOS helps you manage human energy. Getting everybody rowing in the same direction. So our ideal client is what we call people that we love working with are typically businesses with 10 employees or more, typically about 5 million in revenue and want to get to 10 or 20 or whatever the number is and just feel like they're stuck. Are growth minded, willing to be open and honest and appreciative about who they're working with and and really want to build a great culture of their company. And what we do is different than a lot of other systems is we come in and teach the leaders our tools. We teach them how to use the tools, how to solve their problems so they can teach the people below them. So and the reality is at the end of our journey with them, we want everyone to understand the tools, everyone know how to use those tools, and everybody doing that to actually get what they want out of the business and basically eliminating the barriers that are holding them back. And that way we can build independence with each of these companies. And again, get out of their way and let them do what they're supposed to be doing in their business. Some companies stay around. They want us there all the time because they like the objective person coming in and facilitating the discussions. Other teams they get it. They want to be self-managed. And by 2 years, they are ready to run their own business again, be self-managed. And then they're off and running. And, we might see them once a year, that kind of thing, depending on what they need from us. But our whole mission is to find businesses that are struggling and help them get what they want. And some businesses are 2 or 3 people, but they want to get to 10 or 20, and we'll help them get there. Some I've worked with are over 100 people, and they don't want to turn into a bureaucratic company. They want to stay entrepreneurial and really want to keep the culture the way it was earlier. And so for them, it's really important to get everybody on board with using these tools in this system to run their business on. So just some clarity, EOS is a system that the business runs on. You can have tools in your business to execute in your business, but EOS is the system that actually guides the business to what you.
And that's really good that you kind of walk alongside, as I think, we've all like purchased software or just different things that we didn't truly know how to use. And we thought, oh, I could figure it out on my own. And then we don't really get the value out of it or even the results that we want to get out of it because we didn't have a good understanding of what you're doing. So I think that's really good that you walk alongside and make sure that everybody kind of has what they need, to be successful with it.
And the reality is people, business owners especially, don't have a lot of time. So sometimes they'll read a book or see something that's new and shiny and like, oh, let's do that. And they learn 10% of it and throw it into the mix. And it never really gets fully utilized. And part of our practice is one of the tools we talk about is going in and actually cleaning out your system and start getting rid of the things that you don't use, things that are costing you money, and only use the things that will get results for your business. And as you probably know, business being made up of multiple people, there's multiple mindsets, there's different experiences coming together, and everybody has an idea of how to make this work. We just simplify that and say, let's use one system, leverage the tools, and then everybody is using the same system, speaking the same language, understanding what the results look like, and realize when they don't get the results, why they didn't get them. I just had a session yesterday, and a lot of them, the results, if your teams don't get the results, the question is why? What didn't work? How do we get better at that so we can actually get the results we want? And a lot of it can be, for some teams, can be traumatizing or bad news when they don't hit their numbers. The reality is a lot of teams don't really know why they don't hit their numbers. With EOS, we know exactly why we didn't hit this certain number because we didn't do these things beforehand. And so we are just working to be more consistent, doing the little things to get the results we want quarter after quarter, year after year, because that's really what's we call when clients are stuck. They're not getting the results they want, the cash flow they want. They're not retaining the right people because they're sort of piecemealing things together, and it's just not working. So if we're trying to say, let's clear the decks and say, use this system, it'll reward you by giving you the results you're predicting every single time.
Yeah. So you talked about like some issues and challenges. What are like some issues and challenges that you found that you've encountered with like working with some businesses?
Well, initially, right off the top, the biggest issue was the team isn't aligned on one vision. There was a vision by the owner or somebody in the organization back in the day. It was never repeated over and over again. It wasn't lived. No one lived that vision. And so I go into a room and ask 6 different people, what's your vision for the company? I get 7 different answers. And it's interesting because they don't really know exactly what the vision means or really get where it came from. So one of the first things we do is get the whole team, the leadership team specifically, so the owner and the leaders of the company aligned with one vision. Where are you going and how are you going to get there? Really very specific, very simple, cut and dry. What's your unique ability in your business? What's your core focus of what the business is doing and what it's offering to your clients? Who are you working with? All the little things like that to be able to simplify and clarify with everyone in the organization. We're doing this. We're going to go here and we're going to serve these type of clients with these kind of results. The next is not having the right people in the organization. A lot of organizations either were hiring people to fill seats because they needed somebody to do the work, and because they didn't have a clear vision, or they really didn't have a clarity of core values, which is really the culture of your organization. They weren't hiring people that would fit the culture or really understood why they're there and what they're doing to help achieve the vision. So yes, they're doing the work, but they are really not sure why they're there, why they're valued or not being valued. And that's why a lot of businesses have people coming and going. There's no buy-in, and it's really different to hire somebody to fill a seat, say, here's the work, go do it, than explaining, here's why we're doing this. This is why it's important to us. Do you agree? Do you see that you will fit in this culture? Do you want to come join us and be part of this team? Two different dynamics. And that's why a lot of companies aren't keeping their people or hanging on to the wrong people because they've never had a tool to help evaluate that. And just one thing with EOS as well, the tools we give to leaders allow them to communicate and clarify the standard of how they should be doing business. So they aren't the bad guys or bad people saying, sorry, you're not cutting it, you have to go. It's saying, here's our standard. This is what we're accepting and not accepting. And it paints a picture again to the people. It gives them an opportunity to step up, and now they have clarity of what it takes to work here, but also give them a choice like, yeah, I don't think I feel it. I can go elsewhere, and that's good too. And we're really just trying to get the right people in the right seats in the company. So again, they can all help the company be successful. And the third thing is the biggest thing we find, lack of process.
Yeah.
Companies are so busy trying to keep up, no one's written anything down. So the onboarding process takes so long to get somebody actually onboarded and executing and contributing. There is no process for somebody to come in and actually get onboarded quickly and start executing in a quick fashion. The owner or founder has all this information in their head and never wrote any of it down.
Nope.
And it keeps the company, it's a stranglehold on the company, it keeps it from actually scaling. I went through that as well, because you figure it out as you go along and you're like, yeah, that's what we're supposed to do here. And it's amazing and freeing when you can write something down and see somebody else take that knowledge and just kill it.
Yeah.
They do something faster and better than you ever could because they have the time. They're not in 12 seats. They're not in doing multiple things.
I know you work with the leadership team. Like, how impactful is it when you work with the leader? Because of course, like you said, the leader, you can have all of these ideas and things that are, in your head and not down on paper. So how important is it for the leader to kind of, almost have like a brain dump of information that they want? Because a lot of times like you said, in organizations, you can have all of this information, but it's difficult for somebody else to step in and actually, kind of do their job because they have to keep asking you. And then that doesn't free you up to have the information, over and all of that kind of stuff.
Yes.
So,
And there's
yeah.
a couple ways to look at that. Some people want that, they want to be the gatekeeper, right? Somebody comes in and that person trains them. The reality there is you have two people doing one job ish. Because the new person is not understanding, the existing person is not doing their job. They're helping you do your job. So it's really inefficient. And it's amazing the tools and technology we have today that you can actually take your job and write everything down, even make videos on how to do things
Mhm.
with the intention that when you elevate to the next position, your replacement comes in here and not down at ground zero.
Yes.
That is huge. Now, when I mentioned before, business leaders and leadership team being open minded and growth oriented, that's what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
Realizing that if they do that, it's for the greater good of the company. And when owners can realize I've grown the company to this big or this, this much money, and I can't do any more for the company. I need to find somebody else to help us go to the next level.
Yes.
Those are the kind of companies I love working with because they're ready for change. They're
Mhm.
ready to not hand things over, but ready to get people on the team. So it isn't so much work for them.
Yeah.
Some entrepreneurs, unfortunately, I went through this as well. They think working 12, 15 hours a day, doing it by yourself
Mhm.
is the what's supposed to happen in an entrepreneurial business.
Yeah.
And that's fine for a while. It's not sustainable and it's not healthy.
Mhm.
When you stop taking stop watching your kids play soccer, you're constantly working, that's a sign that you need help. And the
Mhm.
best thing is to duplicate yourself in the business. Best way is having a written process, but also getting people under you or in the business that have a different skill set that can actually elevate what you used to do. Because what you did 5 years ago or 2 years ago is not what's required today or tomorrow. And
Exactly.
getting them to understand that concept is pretty powerful. And if we, right off the bat, the first day, we start practicing emptying your minds in this certain subject, tell me all you need to know about this or all you know about this. And then writing it down so everyone can see. And there'll be people in the room the very first day that'll say, I didn't know that. I've been here 5 years, didn't know that.
Mhm.
Because again, they didn't know what to ask. The person never divulged that information. Once we get it out of their heads and written down, it's very powerful to everybody can start being on the same page and getting them to used to either saying it or writing it down so that they're all working together and all
Mhm.
understanding what the nuances are about any little thing. And the best part about our system, having them write things down and also tackle their issues by being open and honest and saying, I don't understand why that issue is such a big deal, and being able to have that discussion so that the team can make decisions, ideally to get rid of that issue,
Yeah.
to solve it, make it go away forever, or at least get um, progress on getting it solved maybe a year from now. But right now, the solve is this. Let's get that solved and move to the next part of that issue because maybe it's a big deal.
Mhm.
It could be people adding a whole different division, replacing people. There's a lot of things that have to happen to have a company grow to a certain point, and getting them just to learn and practice the tools and being, when I say open and honest, sometimes open and honest to the point of calling things out that need to be said that haven't been said for a couple of years.
Mhm.
Those kind of things that we aren't very healthy because of these three things. I think we need to talk about that. And
Mhm.
once that happens, it's amazing how the team not only elevates the business, but also uh, becomes a healthier team. They
Yeah.
like working together. They trust each other a little bit more. And then they can handle bigger issues that will be coming down the road as they start growing the business.
Absolutely. Well, thanks, Chris. That was really good. So let's kind of switch gears and talk about like what it's like for a business to work with the EOS.
So, what we do is my typical interaction is I meet somebody that's a business owner. Get referred to somebody that's a business owner. They're struggling. They are not as far along as they want to be. We have a conversation. And I typically say, what kind of business do you have? And how's your business going? And that's all I need to say. They will typically tell me everything, good, bad, or indifferent, that's happening with the business and what they wish would get fixed. And from there, I can judge and see if we actually can help them. We can't help everyone. And a lot of times we think we can, but it really depends. It's a two-way street. The owner, the leader, and the leadership team have to want to do this and practice these skills and these tools and change the way they do business. I like to say If they want to learn the piano, I can teach them, but they have to practice. That's the mindset they have to have. Then if they're interested, I get them in a room, the leaders in the leadership team, typically the sales leader, the operations leader, the finance leader, things like that, in the room, and explain the context of the book's Traction. And Traction is the book that has all the tools in it. EOS is the system that's in the book. So within 90 minutes, I explain to them and show them how the process works, all the tools and disciplines of EOS, and then how it would look like for us working together. Because again, it's a commitment. I'm not offering them a magic bullet, a silver bullet, or anything like that. It is, I will teach you, you'll need to learn with the intent you will teach the people below you, right? Because again, I want the leadership team to learn these tools, teach their people below them, their departments, and their people below them, so the leadership team can elevate and start making bigger, bolder decisions for the company, and the departments can start managing themselves. That's when the company can actually start growing.
Yeah.
If they like what they're hearing and they say yes, I basically get buy-in. Then we start working on the first day. We introduce the tools and start building out their accountability chart, basically the structure of the organization, the seats, what they're supposed to do, and potentially who sits in those seats. Explain the level 10 meeting, how that is so effective, and get them all on the same page for an hour and a half a week. Talk about their rocks, why they need rocks in their business, what rocks are versus their day-to-day work. And talk about their scorecard, what a scorecard is, and why it's so important for them to create one to give them a pulse of their business week in and week out. Okay. And with those tools, the accountability chart, level 10 meetings, rocks, scorecard, it really allows them to start seeing their business in a different way. It uncovers a lot of things that aren't working in their business. And it really gives them a chance to say, whoa, wow, we didn't notice that. Or, yeah, that's been going on for a while. We just didn't know how to fix it. And from there, we teach them the tools, and we repeat ourselves a lot because it takes time for them to actually get the understanding of the tools. And then we also spend 2 days building out their VTO, which is the Vision Traction Organizer, which is a 2-page document that explains their vision, where they're going and how they're going to get there, and the numbers that they need to achieve to get along in their journey. Once those 3 days are complete, which is about 60 days total, then they're ready to go execute in their business. And then I work with them on a quarterly basis to, how'd you do last quarter? What worked and what didn't? What did we learn from this? What are our priorities for the next quarter? Those are our rocks. Sometimes there's no rocks because you have no capacity. You're busy doing your business, which is fine. Other times there's a lot of rocks. There's a lot of things got to get done.
Yeah.
With the intention of the leadership team having a set of rocks, and eventually their people having a set of rocks. So it actually helps the company evolve and move forward a lot faster. And we do that every single quarter until they're ready to graduate.
Okay. So what's the difference between like an EOS implementer and like a traditional consultant?
So in general, we like to say as an implementer, we are there to teach independence. We want to teach you the system so you can learn it and then get out of your way. We are not there. Ideally, we're there for 2 years with most clients. And again, we are there to build you up and give you the tools to run your own business. There are consultants that come in and teach them or tell them how to run their business. And we don't do that. We just introduce a new way of looking at their business and a new way to simplify their business. Like I said earlier, 5 people running the company, you have 6 different versions of how they should make a decision. And that's why things get bogged down. They're very inefficient. They can never really, either the meetings aren't very valuable. They can't get any traction on anything. Or they're just fighting fires. Every single day there's a new fire. Everything's urgent. Everything's urgent. And we just simplify everything down for them and make it reasonable for them to run their business with clarity and consistency so that they can go home on Friday at 5:00, or they can have a vacation, not worry about the business not functioning while they're gone. All those little things that build up over time. And there are times when they do need a consultant to come in and shore up, say, the sales department or something like that. But EOS is broader than that. Again, we are there to teach the whole company how to work together using the tools, using one system, and getting everybody involved to row in the same direction. And again, I think of consultants as the coaches and things like that to come in and help them get unstuck in that one area is really valuable. I have a lot of referrers that I give out for salespeople that when they elevate the sales team, financial person that really needs help in the finance seat, things like that. But again, if you think about what EOS does, we're a little broader because we work for the whole team, and the tools will work, the tools and disciplines will work for the whole company.
So we learned about, of course, like implementer. Like, what's the difference between like an implementer and then the integrator that works with the EOS model?
So it's good, great question. So that term integrators come up in the last couple of years. The integrator, also known as like the COO or the chief of staff, the integrator is really the person in the business, an employee of the business, running the day to day. They are the person managing the P&L, making sure what's going on in the business aligns with the P&L. They're pushing the vision and making sure everybody's aligned with that vision. They're managing the leadership team. They're really also helping the leadership team by removing obstacles and letting them execute. That's their job day in and day out. As an implementer, I come in and keep them on track with EOS and help them get clarity. So think about that, the sports analogy, the leadership team, the integrator are the players. Players have coaches and they have meetings to get all on the same page. That's what we do as implementers. We get them out of their business for a day so they can work on their business. A lot of business owners are stuck in their business and a lot of times become operators. They're just there, like I mentioned before, all the stuff's in their head and they're just doing this kind of work. They're just an operator. We can get them out of the business for a day, get them all in the same room, have them all sit down and participate with each other. And as an implementer leading and facilitating that discussion, they can make huge strides in their business by working on their business and work saying what's working, what's not, and how do we get the not working onto the working side? What challenges are we going to face the next 90 days? Because that's all we have to worry about is the next 90 days. That's it. And if they can get clarity on the same page after that one day together working on their business, the likelihood of them executing at a high level in their business for the next 90 days goes way up. So that's the biggest difference. So fundamentally, I work with them to get clarity, working on the business. The integrator is driving for results in the business. Very powerful. Both have to do their jobs. A lot of times there'll be integrators that implement EOS. And the hard part with that is they're really sitting in two seats and trying to do two jobs. And they run out of time. And it really is hard to run a business and then introduce different tools and disciplines along the way without understanding how they all work together and how they all function together. So I have worked with self-implementers before, which is great because they've done a great job. They just might need some clarity on certain tools here or there, and it really allows them to get back on track. But most of my clients they don't have the capacity to do it in their business. They rely on me to help them on their business. They get clarity and like, okay, we know what to do for the next 90 days in the business. We're just going to execute and then come up for air and meet with me and get clarity. And that's why it's so powerful when teams go on a retreat for a day or a couple days. They're breaking away from the day to day, all the things, all the urgency that's going on, and just be able to reflect of how it was the last 90 days, talk about what's holding them back, make decisions, and then they can move forward and just make a plan for the next 90 days.
Yeah. No, that's really good. I mean, this has been really a great conversation, some really good information. And I know some of our listeners are like, okay, that's me. I'm, working 75, 80 hours a week. I have no time. I have no idea what I'm doing. I want this business to grow. So what are some next steps that you can share with our listeners? Like, how can they get in contact with you? What are some things that they need to do as far as next steps to get connected with EOS?
Well, I'd love to do that. And I'm always open for a discussion. So I'm available. My profile's on LinkedIn. You could, and I offer anybody to give me a call at 916-717-3332 and just have a conversation about your business. What do you want? What's working? What's not? If nothing else, I'll send you a free book of traction and be able to read that, because that might give you some clarity that there are some things that you might be able to take from the book that will help you, or you need more than that, and we can have another conversation with your team, and I can explain the value of EOS to the whole team and see if that makes sense for your team and moving forward. So if nothing else, it's free information and the ability to get some clarity of what might be helping you.
Most definitely. And we'll drop your number and your contact information in the show notes so that, and of course, website is online, and we can, share more information about it to those who definitely can use the help, because it's a great system. And we're so glad that we could talk to you and share more information about it. And that concludes another insightful episode of Business Unleashed, a Plano Chamber podcast presented by Baylor Scott & White Plano. A huge thank you to Chris from EOS Worldwide for sharing his valuable insights on the entrepreneur operating system and how it can help businesses overcome challenges and achieve growth. We hope you found this episode inspiring and full of actionable takeaways. Stay tuned for more episodes as we continue to explore the tools and strategies that can help your business thrive. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform and visit our website at planochamber.org for more resources and information. Until next time, keep unleashing your business potential.